They did it again. Back to back to back to back. Los Ratones are your spring split EU Masters champions, and the script was exactly the same as last time. Losing 2-0 in groups into a very intense 3-2 elimination series, and after that it just all comes together with a clean sweep in the semis and in the finals. Haters keep on hating, Los Ratones will keep winning. We knew that Nemesis, Reckless and Crowny were amazing players, but Baus and Velia have surpassed everyone's expectations. Velia is a completely different player than he was 6 months ago, and Baus, they said his playstyle wouldn't work in pro play, but I think it was made for pro play. Unless when he's completely running it, it's a very thin line with him. But jokes aside, this team has proved that they are simply too good to stay in tier 2 for another year. Not only would it be unfulfilling in terms of competing, but they would also kill a lot of the momentum and attention that Los Ratones attracts. After winning EU Masters, going back to beating up bottom NLC teams is a very big downgrade, and no matter how loyal the fanbase is to the team, this isn't sustainable in the long run from a content perspective. And I'm saying this while being the biggest Los Ratones fan that you can possibly be. I tune in for the screams almost every single day, and I literally learned how to edit to make my first ever video, analyzing the strength of the team. So if even the most dedicated fans are starting to feel like the content can get stale, other people might get tired of this idea very quickly. Kettle has talked about doing a Los Ratones World Tour and a Korea bootcamp, and while these options would bring back the hype around the team for a while, it would not solve the root of the problem. And that is of course a small indie company by the name of Riot Games. The way the competitive ecosystem works in League makes it impossible for teams to climb up to tier 1 from tier 2. All the tier 1 leagues are franchised competitions, and in case you don't know what this means, let me explain. Riot partners with specific organizations that participate in each tier 1 league. For Europe, this league is the LEC, and getting there is practically impossible unless you waste millions on a spot. By closing out the access to the LEC and other tier 1 leagues, Riot stabilizes the esports scene, but only at the highest level. The partner orgs guarantee their spot in the league virtually forever, as long as they meet some criteria, while everyone else goes to shit. Since teams can move up, no orgs want to put money in the scene, which completely kills the interest and excitement for a league outside of international tournaments. Anyway, you get the picture. It's a shit system. This means that the rats can't move up, and that is really bad in more than just one way. Since they are a content team, stagnation can kill the interest in the project, and competing stops making sense from a player's perspective. Why would you sacrifice hours that you could put into something else, working your hardest, if you can't move up and improve? Stagnation is death to a competitor. The whole point of competing is to improve and be the best that you can be. All of these players are incredible, and I will bet you that they want to play at the highest level possible. But there's a literal ceiling on how much they can improve. And now you sit there wondering, is there a way to break that ceiling or get around it? The way I see it, there are 4 different options to get Los Ratones into the LEC. The first one is Riot makes the League esports scene like Valorant, where there is an ascension of a tier 2 team into tier 1. In case they made that change this year, if Los Ratones won the Summer Split EU Masters, they could get elevated into the LEC. However, streaming their scrims would become a problem, since Riot has in the past been opposed to LEC teams streaming their scrim blocks. You might think I'm fucking stupid and there's no way that they would turn it into a promotion relegation system, but there is precedent since Valorant functions that way, and I'm pretty sure that they were already considering this before Los Ratones became a thing. This gives Riot the perfect opportunity to implement it and benefit from all the Los Ratones viewership and attention. But yeah, I'm probably huffing that copium because this is still highly unlikely. Option number 2 would be Riot making a special offer to Los Ratones because of how much movement there is behind the team. I don't think Riot is dumb enough to ignore how much attention Los Ratones would bring to the LEC and how much they would benefit by adding them. But they did remove Hextech chests and thought no one was going to complain, so maybe they are simply that clueless. I don't really know how that special offer would look like and how well received it would be in other regions. This could hurt partner relationships, so it's probably not gonna happen either. Which leads us to option number 3. Los Ratones merges with an LEC team. Now again, I don't know how this would look like from a business side of things, but Los Ratones would probably lose their identity if this were to happen. For example, if they merged with Rogue, would they be Los Rogones? Never mind, Rogue isn't even in the LEC anymore. Los Navigones. Besides, teams already have sponsors, so the individual players would have to drop their respective streaming sponsors, which could hurt them more than being in the LEC would benefit them. Also, Cagedal would probably lose a lot of the administrative power as the team's owner and coach, so I don't really see it. And finally, option number 4 is either LR or a sponsor buys a spot for them. But this isn't worth it at all, and Durex Los Ratones, I'm afraid, is never happening. Sorry to disappoint, but them going into the LEC next year is very unlikely. Don't despair just yet though, because there are other ways to keep the team alive. Los Ratones could go to other tier 2 regions like Korea, where the competition, as sad as it sounds, it's probably as good if not better than the LEC. However, this would be a very big change in the players' lives and they might not agree to it. There is also a world where players get individual offers from LEC teams, but I genuinely don't really see any of them leaving this team if they were to stay alive next year. The amount of passion around this project is insane, and it is a huge part of the reason why they are so successful. From the players to the staff to the fans, this is a passion project through and through, and it's an honor to see it develop. Even a player like Valia, whose dream is to play in the LEC, has said on his stream that he would not leave the team for an LEC offer, because of his love for the project, and apparently he was considered to join the Navi squad, but no agreement was reached. Plus, players like Nemesis and Reckless, who have been in contact with the worst side of esports, are most likely not leaving the team either, even if they get offers from good teams. My hope is that they stay together and we do see them playing tier 1 and eventually Worlds one day. Till then, let's pray that Cagedal has an ace up his sleeve. Like, if you have some dirt on Ludwig and can blackmail him into signing the team into Shopify Rebellion, now's the time, buddy. I'm sure that Mr. Serial is doing everything in his power to keep Los Ratones alive. However, there's no denying that these corporate barriers are very tough obstacles. But let me know what you think. Will Cagedal find a way, or is this the end of the road for Los Ratones? That's gonna be it from me today. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I'm not trying to flame Riot, but fix your fucking competitive scene for the love of God. Today was a quicker one, but I'm dropping a big video very soon, so subscribe if you want to see that. Big up the Rat Gang, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.